For Love of the Sacred Heart by Mary Kate Ellis. Devotion to the Sacred Heart has been a pious devotion for many years. However, there is one holy nun of note that adored this divine heart with her whole being. No, this is not Sister Faustina Kowalska, who propagated the Divine Mercy devotion. That is a devotion which draws attention away from the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This nun is Sister Josefa Menendez, a humble Sacred Heart sister and author of The Way of Divine Love. Josefa Maria Menendez was born February 4th, 1890, in Madrid, Spain, to pious and holy parents. A devotion to the Sacred Heart was instilled within her at a very young age by her confessor. She was generally known as a very quiet, serious, and hardworking little girl, and she was noted for her piety at a young age. There is not much else known about her young life, except that she had an aptitude for dressmaking. When she was a teenager, she began making dresses to pay the bills for the family, as her parents both became gravely ill. In desperate need of money, she turned to prayer for help. The Mother Superior of the Sacred Heart Order called for Josefa, giving her a brand new sewing machine and a commission for 1,000 scapulars. Josefa completed this work gladly, and when she would have returned the machine, the Mother Superior refused, letting Josefa know that this was hers to keep for her hard work. She would use the machine to make and sell dresses at a faster and more productive rate, and it was this act of kindness that lit the fire of love for this order of nuns in her heart. When her father passed away, her little sister left home and joined the Sacred Heart Order, leaving Josefa to care for their still ill mother, who could not bear to be parted from her beloved eldest daughter. Her brothers left home one by one to get married, and finally Josefa's mother relented to letting her become a nun, but only if Josefa entered the order of the Sisters of Mary Reparatrix. The humble teenager completed the postulancy, but did not become a novice with the order. She knew her calling was to the Sacred Heart Sisters. Her mother exerted all her influence to keep her from leaving that order, but Josefa remained resolute. She was directed to a French house, despite not knowing any French, and joined the convent of Les Feuillants in Poitiers, France. It took Josefa nearly 10 years to obtain permission to join this order, and she was 29 years of age by the time she became a postulant at Les Feuillants. It was here that Sister Josefa began receiving visions of our Lord. In this humble convent, he poured out his Sacred Heart's desire to her. Often our Lord would say to her, quote, "I come to rest in you, for I am so little loved. I am in search of love, and meet only with thankless neglect. Rare are the souls that truly love me." Close quotes. He wished for her to spread a devotion to his heart. He instructed her to write all that he said, and under obedience to her superiors, she did so. Sister Josefa was granted other great privileges besides conversations with our Lord. Our Lord asked if she would wear the crown of thorns for a time, and she did so. He would also give her his cross to bear, and she would be trapped beneath it, struggling to hold it up at night. The devil also attacked her in the form of a dog. The devil would beat her, throw her about in bed, and he would snatch her away and stuff her into a tight corner of the convent so that it would take a very long time to find her. This was often witnessed by other nuns, who would testify that Sister Josefa would, quote, vanish into thin air, close quote. Sister Josefa was also given the privilege of seeing the souls in purgatory and how they suffered, and with her consent, God would allow her to spend whole nights in hell as well. Her description of hell is bone-chilling. She describes it as, quote, a sickening stench asphyxiates and corrupts everything. It is like the burning of putrefied flesh, mingled with tar and sulfur, a mixture to which nothing on earth can be compared. Although these tortures were terrific, they would be bearable if the soul were at peace, but it suffers indescribably. Dios mío, all I have written is but a shadow of that the soul suffers, for no words can express such dire torment. Close quotes. September 4th, 1922. Sister Josefa willingly performed these acts of reparation for the sins of the world, and she was suffering to bring particular souls close to God who were offending him deeply. She carried on this way for some time, seeing Our Lady often as well. Our Lady would oftentimes come with words of wisdom and to refresh Josefa. Our Lord sought to detach Sister Josefa from the last thing she was clinging to in this world, her fellow sisters. She was sent to another convent, and she left without complaint or tears. Later, she would return to Les Feuillants at the command of our Lord. Shortly before her final martyrdom of soul and body, she was sent to Rome to visit the Mother House and to be examined by the Mother General. She was told there by our Lord that she was going to die soon. When she returned to Les Feuillants, she became ill and entered her last agony. She suffered greatly for some time, speaking often of the Sacred Heart, and she died at the age of 33 on December 19th, 1923. This humble sister lived a quiet, unnoticed life. She was often seen smiling and working hard on repetitive and boring tasks. She wasn't known to gripe or to complain, but she gives us all several very important reminders. Our Lord is abandoned by so many, and he is, indeed, old love. Do we think of him often? Do we meditate on his passion, on the cruel death that he died for us? Do we love and honor his Sacred Heart, that burning furnace of all grace and virtue? Do we run to him like little children? Do we abandon ourselves to his will? In the book Sister Josefa left behind, she recounted all of her encounters with our Lord, and he left many messages about his heart, reparation, love, and mercy. He stressed that his heart longs for reparation and for sinners to turn to it. Our Lord cries to her, quote, "Ah, Judas, why not throw yourself at my feet that I may forgive you too? If you are afraid to come near me because of the raging mob that surrounds me, at least look at me. My eyes will meet yours, for even now they are lovingly intent upon you." Do we thank God for that love which he so lavishly bestows upon us? Do we turn to his Sacred Heart for comfort? Our Lord is an abyss of unending love. Look upon him, and you will see love incarnate. Sister Josefa knew this and allowed herself to be dissolved in his endless love and mercy, and her wish, which was to die for love of him, was granted. Pope Pius XII encouraged Catholics to read her writings. Think often of the words of our Lord as he showed Sister Josefa the Passion during this month of the Sacred Heart. Recall his words to her. Quote, "Look at what they have done to me. The God who makes the little flowers grow," close quote, and ponder over your life today. Have you abandoned yourself to the Sacred Heart like young Sister Josefa? Are you willing